Welcome back to the Tracy Take. Today, Ryan and I will be starting this new mini series that we call the NFL Wildcard Playoff 2022 season session extravaganza. We try to make it as short as possible, our title, and that was like our sixth rough draft. So let us know in the comments on what you think of that. But before we get into the first game that we're going to be going over, Ryan and I, we have a goal of getting to 400 subscribers by the Super Bowl weekend, which is a little over a month away. So if you have not already, please help us out and subscribe to this channel, like this video, leave a comment, share this with your Raiders and Bengals friends and fans. Yes, that is a game that we will be talking about, the first one on the slate of games. And Ryan, let's get into it. Super pumped about this game. I don't think in my wildest dream, I honestly think the Falcons had a better shot of making the playoffs than either of these two teams right here, let alone the fact that they are playing in the first playoff game, which means one of them won the division. And if you look at Cincinnati now, or if you look at Cincinnati from a year ago to now, the team has vastly improved. I will say, you and I can proudly say that we were wrong. I'm not saying they should pick Penei Sewell, protect Joe Burrow. Jamar Chase has been a phenomenal pick. He is up
rookie
there
of the year,
with rookie
by far.
Oh yeah, you can maybe make an argument here or there, but yeah, I think if you're looking solely on stats, Jamar Chase has had one of the best rookie years ever, and he has been an absolute game changer for these. He has single-handedly won some of these games for them, crucial games. So I'm really looking forward to seeing them against the Raiders. And the Raiders, after the year that they've had, I never would have thought that they would be in this position right here. And I think it's going to be such a fun game to watch. A lot of emotion, I think, from both teams. I'll just kind of send it your way. The Raiders are underdogs here, and they have already played the Bengals earlier this season, lost by 19 points. What did the Raiders have to do to come out on top?
Kind of, I guess what you mentioned there with them not drafting Penei Sewell and taking Jamar Chase. I think the Raiders have to get after Joe Burrow. They have to make them regret not drafting Penei Sewell. The Raiders, so they have the 25th scoring defense in the NFL right now, but they also have a 40% pressure rate, which is one of the highest, if not the highest, in the NFL right now. So they definitely have the ability to get after the quarterback. They definitely have the ability to make the quarterback make mistakes. And man, they showed a lot of grit and fight in that game against the Chargers last week. Yeah. So
last night, yeah.
This is going to be a barn burner. I think this Raiders team is extremely mentally tough. If you had told me that they would lose not just their coach, but two of their first round picks from 2 years ago, not even like fifth year guys that are on the way out already, maybe, but like two crucial pieces in Damon Arnett and Henry Ruggs in the middle of the season. I mean, I would have told you that there was no way. I thought that they were going to struggle with depth to begin with, and so I'm really impressed by this Raiders squad. They have a really tough matchup. I think again, what I said, the Raiders have to get after the quarterback, and I think Joe Burrow has to be quick with the football. I mean, getting it out in 2 seconds. If you catch it and get rid of it before the defense even has time to get there, it doesn't matter how good those pass rushers are. So that for me. Kind of running the ball through the air, make this defense have to spread out and play with all 11 guys and not just kind of be able to play front seven in the box and really control the game right there. So I think it's going to be a really good wild card weekend for this game.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I think both teams are when they played earlier a couple weeks ago. I think it was just before Thanksgiving, I believe. Both teams were kind of at different spots. The Raiders seemed like they were trying to find their identity a lot. A lot of stuff had happened. Trying to keep it family friendly. I guess say a lot worse than just stuff happening to that organization and within the organization. And I agree with what you said. I think they're gritty. They're mentally tough. I mean, the fact that they are here shows the absolute will and grind that each team that they have to get here. And I want to say a shout out as well to Hunter Renfrow. He is a 1,000-yard receiver. I think he had a quiet 1,000-yard receiving season. largely due to the fact because of just how crazy the season has been for them. With Hunter, with when Henry Ruggs ran out, you're thinking like, all right, well, Darren Waller's got to be the guy, and Darren Waller has just been injury prone and hasn't been able to play in every game or to the peak level that he's able to in every game. And Hunter Renfrow has been the consistent Energizer Bunny throughout the team, and he really stepped up. He's gotten a lot more touchdowns, a lot more yards, some key clutch plays. 2 weeks ago against the Colts, he made that amazing snag at the end of the game to put the Raiders in field goal range. Technically, I mean, almost scored a touchdown if it wasn't for a finger that touched his shoe. And then last night against the Chargers, I believe he had a 2-touchdown game, if I'm not mistaken. I might be wrong. I'm trying to remember. I know he had at least one. And he had a lot of yards. Yeah, he had two. Yeah. So I think he's going to play a big part in this game because him and Derek Carr seem to have found a connection. And that's one thing I think where the Raiders can capitalize is that Bengals secondary is weak. The Bengals passing defense is 26th in the league. They're allowing on average 250 yards per game. That bodes well against this Derek Carr led offense, which is 6th in the league in passing yards, averaging 268.6. And they are still doing that, as I said, even after Henry Ruggs fell out. They are, I think, great scheming, and they can hit to a lot of guys and spread the ball around a lot, even though Hunter Renfrow was their only 1,000-yard receiver. They got a lot of guys that were in the 500 or 600-yard range and more. And so it's going to be very diverse, very tough to cover. How about, okay, now let's move over to Cincinnati. Cincinnati won this matchup earlier this year. I think this is going to be a different Raiders team as we talked about. I think it's going to be a little bit tougher for them. What do they need to do to attack and win this game?
Yeah, kind of just what I said earlier.
Is this going to be their first, if they win, is this their first home playoff win in I wish I looked this up. This has got to be their first home playoff game.
I think the last home playoff game was the Antonio Brown. Vontez Burfict hit Antonio Brown when the Bengals won the division. I want to say in like 2012.
Wow. Okay. Holy cow.
So what I was going to say there is I think the Bengals, kind of what I said earlier, they have to just run the ball through the air, utilize all those weapons, spread it out, and make the Raiders have to play defense with all 11 guys. If you can spread out this defensive line and make them try to have to start running sideline to sideline, that's going to neutralize this pass rush because they're not just going to be able to run downfield at Joe Burrow. But also, too, you're going to tire him out a little bit. These big guys have a lot more weight to move. So definitely doing that. Being a balanced offense. Joe Mixon is a 1,000-yard rusher. So utilizing him in the run game. And I think that's their key to win. Their defense is what it is. It's not going to be great against the pass, but they have a solid front seven. Trey Hendrickson is a Pro Bowler. Logan Wilson is developing into a player that they really like at middle linebacker. So I think that these teams match up really well, and this is going to be a really, really exciting way to kick off Wild Card Weekend. What do you think the Bengals have to do to pull this one out?
Well, so I agree with what you're saying, and so I did comment on the secondary, but yeah, I agree with you. The Raiders are not a good run team in general. Josh Jacobs, I think, is a good running back, but I just think they're kind of set up. Their offensive line isn't as elite as it needs to be, and neither is the Bengals. But I'll get to that in a second. The Raiders are so dependent on the pass. Similar kind of to the Bills, they do struggle to run the ball at times. Now, Josh Jacobs has had some games, but he's only has about 800 rushing yards on the season, maybe 900 now after the last. Actually, and I still feel like that's actually too much. But that being said, though, the Bengals need to continue to stop the run, make the Raiders one-dimensional. So if they can if they can stop the run with their front four and drop back 7, that's going to be a huge help, I think, to this Bengals defense and just putting more guys back there that can make plays, get some interceptions. That's on the defensive side of the ball. On the offensive side of the ball, I think they need to do the same recipe that they had when these two teams played last time. Joe Burrow only had, I believe, 200 passing yards, so to say, but Joe Mixon had 129-yard rushing day. They could run the ball at will, which if they are able to do that again, that's only going to open things up for this Cincinnati passing game, because with Jamar Chase-led receiving core, then you get T. Higgins, who is also a 1,000-yard receiver. Then you get Tyler Boyd in the slot. And then you get C.J. Uzoma, who's a solid tight end. I mean, like if he's your fourth option to throw to,
Yeah.
like if you're the defensive coordinator, how do you cover that? Especially then when you get Joe Mixon or Samaje Perine as a check down guy coming out of the
Yeah.
backfield. The offense is loaded with weapons, and if they're able to attack the run and develop a running game, they don't need to run for over 129 yards. They don't need to have a Derrick Henry like or Jonathan Taylor like game plan, but they can just be effective. Like every time they run the ball, they average 3 to 4 yards a carry. It's only going to open up the passing game, and I don't know how the Raiders are going to be able to stop that because it's not like their passing defense is elite. It's good. They're ranked 13th overall, but I think if they're able to run
but that's
the ball,
slightly
which they
above
can,
average.
slightly above average, and their run defense is slightly below average as well. So if they can capitalize on that, it's only going to open things up in the passing game. And even that being said, I still think, let's say they can't run the ball. We have seen Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase go for these 400, 200-yard games with ease, it seems like. So they're so explosive. It's going to be it's going to be a tough one, I think, for the Raiders because this Bengals offense has a lot of different weapons, both running ball and passing.
And I guess that's a good segue kind of into our game predictions. So who do you think is going to come out on top in this one?
So it is fun to watch both teams, but I think I'm just going to go with the more explosive team. Also, this is the team that has been more consistent, I feel, and especially in the AFC, the team that makes it to the Super Bowl is going to be the most consistent team. That is top down, all the way from Tennessee down to Pittsburgh. If you can be consistent, not make mistakes, and I think that's going to be the Bengals. I think the Bengals are going to be the team that is they're just more balanced on the offensive side of the ball. I think they might not be as balanced on the defensive side of the ball, but what they lack for kind of that passing game, they make up for in that front seven, as you said. I think they're going to be able to get after Derek Carr. That Raiders offensive line isn't weak, but it's not a stalwart, so to say. So there are some vulnerabilities. And I think that the Bengals are going to take this one home, win in the playoff, move on to the next round. I'm going to go with, I think they're going to score 31 points to 21.
Okay, yeah, that's kind of what I was going to say. I think this game is going to be a lot closer than the first one. The first one, the Bengals won by 19 points. I think a lot of what you said is correct. I think the Bengals are just going to come out and they're just going to be more talented. And so for me, I'm going to pick the Bengals. I'm going to say 34-31. I think it's going to be a really high-scoring game. I don't think there's going to be a lot of defense. I think it reminds me a lot of the Chargers-Raiders matchup. I just think the Bengals are just slightly better than the Chargers were. So yeah. But other than that,
to comment on that, I will say, so I didn't realize this, but the Raiders had to win, I believe, the last 4 games to make the playoffs.
Did, yeah.
I think they won by a total of 11 points.
Yeah, they eked out all of
4
them.
games. Yeah, they like last second field goal against the Colts, and obviously against the Chargers as well, and the Browns, also against the Browns as well. So 12 points. My apologies. Won by 3 points per game. But yeah, I think it's gonna be a great one. I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's a great way to start the weekend.
Yeah, no, and I mean, this is a great way to kick off Wildcard Weekend, but I don't really have too much else to add. So I think that's going to do it for this episode of the Tracy Take. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. Tyler and I are trying to hit 400 subscribers by the Super Bowl. So if you could help us reach that goal, we would be very appreciative. And other than that, we will see you guys next time.